If it's not broke, don't fix it is my adage I'm going to use going into game four. I mean, look, we went from 217 to 215 to 212 and a half and now 211 and a half in terms of the totals progression over the four games. Dallas has scored less than 100 points in each of the first three games. And I don't know what's going to change for the Mavericks. I mean, Teddy asked me the last time I did a breakdown about adjustments. And the bottom line is I don't see Dallas adjusting right now in terms of what they're doing offensively. I just think it's a bad matchup for an elite defensive team like Boston. And what I'm alluding to here, Steve, is the fact that, it seems to be a lot of isolation one-on-one basketball in their offensive sets centered around Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. And as opposed to the first three series, the supporting cast above those two players have not contributed very much, if at all, offensively. And Boston's not tearing it up by any stretch of the imagination offensively. I mean, 107, 106, 105 points during the first three games of the series. And their defense has been terrific. We talked about pace the last time with me and Teddy, and here's one of those situations, Teddy. The pace has been extremely slow in the first three games of the series. 164 field goal attempts on average throughout the first three games. Here's the other thing. All right, so you're getting a low amount of free field goal attempts per game. How about the free throws? Well, they're not getting to the free throw line very often either, meaning both teams combined 34 free throw attempts per game throughout the first three contests in this series. A lot could be attributed to disciplined defense, and some of it could be attributed to the referees who have decided to just let them play and be physical throughout this series. And again, I don't know what adjustment will be made there by the refereeing crew. And I just think this trend is going to continue. The three-point shooting's been atrocious. Boston 43 for 127 in the series, 33.9%, well below their season average. The Dallas Mavericks have just been pitiful. 22 out of 78 from three-point range, 28.2%. And, for what it's worth, an NBA playoff betting angle here, anytime NBA Finals Game 4 since 2014, that's all series. When the total's 219 or less, 9-0 to the under. Now, that might seem coincidental and not pertinent, but when you look at the average total in those 9 games since 2014, 210.2, there's been a combined 198.9 points scored per game in those 9 contests. And why I say this has a little more pertinency is if you remember prior to 2014, when we get into 2012 and before then, the average totals in playoff games seem to be somewhere around 200 at that point. They've gone up over the last 7 years because of the way the games are being officiated and the way the games are being played. More three-point shooting, more free throws. So I'm going to go under the total here, guys. I know I got a little long-winded there, but I want to make sure everybody knows that there's a method to my madness when I make these plays.
So you talked about how the refs haven't really been calling fouls. Well, on anyone except for Luka. Luka got the fouls called on him. But throughout the series, it hasn't been a foul fest for either side. We haven't seen the refs blow a whole lot of whistles. Well, we got Scott Foster as the lead ref tonight, who is known as a series extender. He's known as an official who, at times, the whistle blows for random reasons. Does the Foster being the lead official tonight concern you at all when it comes to this total? Because he's the one guy. Again, we talk about who we know and the officials and the umpires that we know. It's never for good reasons. Scott Foster, I talk about.
Yeah, number one, that borders on conspiracy. Number two, there is some credence to that because I compare it to like a home plate umpire, whether he's pitcher friendly or hitter friendly. But I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Number one, I'm not one of those guys that says the NBA needs to extend the series, and that's why they planted Foster in for Game 4 for monetary reasons. So to me, means nothing to me, Teddy. Honestly, it means nothing. I mean, if you had 3 referees in the game, all of which took on the same trends that Foster has over the years, I'd be a lot more concerned. just because he's been thrown into the mix doesn't mean the teams are going to shoot from three-point range any better. Doesn't mean the pace of play is going to go up. We may get some more free throws, but by the way, the Dallas Mavericks, 71.2% from the free throw line, Teddy, throughout the first 3 games. And that's an improvement for what they were for the rest of the playoffs. So, again, I hope that answers your question sufficiently.